I don't know.
I'd like to call this Bristol Borough Council work session and regular meeting to order. Would everybody please rise for a moment of silence, and let's remember all those who passed away during the month. And let's remember longtime Bristolian Joe Franceschini, who taught in many schools, including Bristol High, who passed away. Let's keep him in our prayers. Please salute the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bill, can you roll call, please?
Mr. Peasant.
Here.
Ms. Cullen.
Here.
Ms. Rodriguez. Mr. Cousins.
Here.
Ms. Figueroa.
Here.
Mr. Johnson. Mr. Petroci.
Present.
Mr. DiGiuseppe.
Here. So we're going to start out. We have a couple people here this evening to do some presentations. Amanda's here to do a presentation on Woman's Place. You want to do that first? Right at the podium.
At the podium.
Yeah, so I'm Amanda. I'm from A Woman's Place. I'm the Rapid Rehousing Manager. So I'm just here to present Paint the Town Purple. A Woman's Place is the only domestic violence agency serving Bucks County. We started in 1976, and we offer many services to victims facing domestic violence, including housing resources, counseling, help for children and for adults.
Excuse me, can you just speak a little louder?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So numerous services offered through us and a lot of resources. So Paint the Town Purple is our campaign for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So basically what we do is we set up September 28th, purple ribbons with our number and our name down Mill Street, wrapped around to Radcliffe and Market. Just obviously bringing awareness to the month of domestic violence awareness to present that to the public, and also offering our services on the ribbons throughout the town, down the strip, to make everyone aware of who we are and what we could do for our clients of Bucks County. We take them down, I think, the first week of November, so it just lasts out through the month of October. And that's really what it is.
So everybody received this in your packet, and I think it's a great cause and a great thing that you do. And we'd be honored to have you come and paint our town purple.
Thank you.
Maria can't talk, so I don't know why she's trying to talk, but go ahead.
I'll just bring the mic closer to me. Can everyone hear me with the mic? Good. I just want to say I appreciate everything that you guys do. I am a survivor from domestic violence. So back when A Woman's Place was here on Mill Street, I did participate. My children participated. And I was also a speaker for A Woman's Place. So thank you.
Thank you, and we appreciate you. Thank you for sharing.
Maria just got over radiation treatments. So we're glad to have her back.
Yeah, thank you.
So we have a presentation about our flag football program, and Councilman Pezza, who's on the rec board, along with Councilman Cousin, Cullen, and Johnson, wanted to introduce everybody.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I came on this side of the podium, if you will, because I've kind of played two roles in this scenario. One, as a council person that's been advocating for the rec program with Councilwoman Cullen, Councilman Cousin, and Councilman Brian Johnson. With the four of us serve as liaisons to the rec board, and I'm also on this side as a coach and a parent in the flag football program. I was the proud coach of the Philadelphia Eagles this year. We lost in the Super Bowl. to the Raiders. It was a great game, but really, what I wanted to do before I introduce these outstanding individuals up here that have been dedicating a lot of time and energy in many sports, but in particular tonight we're going to talk a little bit about flag football, is also, and it might sound a little self-serving, but it is, I wanted to thank you guys and make sure that you guys understood where the money that we have invested in this program is going and what it really led to. We had, and they'll talk to you about the number of kids that played and the number of games that were played, but we just had just an outstanding time this summer. And if you get a chance over the next couple even years to get to Otter Street during flag football season, you will see a place that is full of life. And if you look at some of these guys right here in the audience, girls and guys, we see, Steelers jerseys, Raiders jerseys, Dolphins jerseys, Eagles jerseys. Those jerseys come at zero cost to Borough residents who play in this program. There's also flags, there are pylons, there's referees. It's a very professional operation. We tried to up our game this year, and I think it was an outstanding and raging success. Again, even though the Eagles lost in the Super Bowl. But really, that being said, I wanted to also, again, thank you guys for what we've invested. This was not a cheap program, but at the end of the day, it was absolutely worth our while to see those kids out there playing. There's one kid, his name is Nuke, is that right? Just as an example of how it's not just for the players. There was a guy who graduated from Bristol High School last year. His nickname is Nuke. I don't know his full name, I'm sorry. But also really inspiring to see what some Bristol youth have become as they stay committed to rec football and rec programs. He refereed every game, and at the end of every single game, he would come up to each team, tell them what they did well, what they could work on, but really just talk to them about, their body language, their way of approaching the game, how to get better, and just a great kid. And man, did these kids really react to that. I point him out just because he's a young man from Bristol Borough that is coming through this rec program and doing things as well. So again, I wanted to just thank you guys for this smashing success. We've been talking as a group a lot over the last couple of years about how we could up the game with recreation. And one of the first steps that we took was to form or reform a rec board. And this rec board, with Aaron Antonelli as the chairman of the rec board, with a number of other members of it that are here tonight, is doing an outstanding job. We have many spirited conversations with them about where we agree and where we even disagree. And that's normal. That's kind of the course of action. But at the end of the day, we're all, Borough Council and the rec board, trying to do the same thing, and that is provide services for these kids in Bristol Borough. And I think it's going really, really well. I wanted to introduce the flag football program coordinators, who are Tyree and Harold, Sandy, as well as Aaron, who obviously took the lead in getting this together. Sandy put out the rosters and worked hard on the schedules. These guys really got just the games organized and the refs organized. And Aaron, obviously, as the chairman of the board, is kind of making sure all of that's going smoothly. So I'm going to let them take it over from here, but I just wanted to kind of give you the perspective of both a councilman and a coach and a parent to say how great this program really was. So,
Thank you.
Gentlemen, the floor is yours.
So I've been reading a lot, and I don't say much on Facebook. I do a lot of posting about, the youth and really getting events out there, but I'm really tired. I cannot tell you how tired I am of people telling me how much the borough does not spend on the youth in this program. So I have some numbers. I'm gonna just throw them out there. I okayed this with Greg before I go. So we got new goals last year. That was a big deal because we have a rec program that uses those goals. We also have a St. Mark program, and we have another Bristol soccer club. Well, they just did a program this year together for 4 days. St. Mark's, rec, and Bristol Soccer Club all got together, had a 4-day clinic, and it was cohabitation. My point is, though, the goals that we used to utilize. The borough workers trying to put them together with PVC and all kinds of stuff, but goals aren't cheap. So the way it started was the end of closing last year, shot Mr. Dillon an email, said, hey, Mr. Dillon, I want some goals. He took it one step further, reached out to Angie. Angie works for the borough people. Like, I want people the YMS, which is another soccer program in Lower Medfield, got 2 goals donated by YMS. Those goals are $2,700 a piece. We were given to them for nothing. Bristol Borough spent $14,500 on the goals that are on our street right now and up at the track. Those goals donated by YMS are allowing our kids to have another practice field right next to the track, which is another thing. The lighting. There was a person in town asking about lights and lights and lights for a specific field for about a decade. I go along to get along. Within 2 weeks of asking, we had lights up at a cost to the borough of $2,200. We stocked the canal last year. That was $5,200. We bought flag football jerseys last year. That was $4,700. Every one of these kids got to keep their jersey, by the way, from that. Soccer, the last 2 years, $4,000 on shirts. Basketball, $2,000. Flag football this year, with refs and everything, was $7,000. So the kids from the borough, again, can come out and keep playing. This doesn't include lining of the field. This doesn't include, typically what clubs pay to utilize a field. I mean, they could pay up to where $150 an hour for a field. Our kids are getting it free of charge because of council. And I'm tired of the negative. I can't take it anymore because I've seen this thing since the inception. It started with Mike Popolowski and Stacy Dragon playing kickball 5 years ago. And it just has gotten big. So I'm done my rant, but I wanted to let you guys know that there's 130 scheduled for soccer as of today was the opening day. We have 122 scheduled for adult kickball. I'm done. That's everything I wanted to say, and I just wanted to come up here and share those points. So as this thing grows, we have great, guys, we could not do anything without our volunteers. And Tyree, Harold, and Sandy. Sandy has the job that nobody wants. Sandy takes the chaos and makes sense of it. I mean, up till 2 o'clock in the morning, sending emails, making sure it looks thing. Tyree and Harold took it upon themselves. They didn't just take a spray paint and spray paint a pig, guys. They got a Cadillac and put it on the field. From the thought process to the execution, it was flawless this year. So again, we're nothing without them. So give them a round of applause.
Okay, that's a tough act to follow. So, good evening. My name is Sandy Jimenez, and I serve as the secretary of the Recreation Board. I helped with flag football and was the team mom for my son's team, the Broncos, this year. This year was Rec's second year of doing flag football, and it was, in my opinion, a huge, tremendous, outstanding success on every level. Last year, we had 150 kids registered to play, and this year we had an increase to 190 who registered to play. That's an increase of 40 kids when we initially planned for only 160 for this season. We formed a total of 14 teams, 2 junior teams, 6 teams of 7 through 9-year-olds, and 6 teams of 10 through 13-year-olds. After all of the movement because of kids who dropped, 163 jerseys and flag belts were ordered for this year's program. This year we added referees and official jerseys, added the code of conduct to our registration, and charged out-of-town players to play, amongst other changes. After this year, we already have a list of changes to make going forward, like having a hard stop on registration, moving the combine up to closer to the end of the registration date, and adding that there is a charge for all out-of-town players to all posts and registration. After a season of flag football that was this successful, there are a bunch of people who need to be thanked publicly. This year would not have been a success it was if it wasn't for my 2 colleagues, Harold Jackson and Tyree Barnes. These men were instrumental in bringing this program to fruition. They brought their knowledge and passion for flag football to the program and kids of Bristol Borough. By the way, my kid got really excited when he saw flag football is now going to be an Olympic event because he's played for 2 years in this program. So thank you. They met multiple times to plan. They had endless texts and calls. They advanced their own money for ref jerseys, fees, and medals. They brought coolers of water for the officials. They had way too many sleepless nights. They both had to deal with me endlessly, and God only knows what else. Thank you so much to both of them for all they did, as they gave a lot of kids the chance to get active, make new friends, and have lots of fun. I also want to thank all the coaches and volunteers who made this program so terrific. I was in almost all the team reach outs and saw coaches who paid for kids to play, who picked up kids for practice and games so they could be included and didn't miss out, who tried to alter jerseys to fit kids better and make them more comfortable, who bought and set up tents on the field for games to provide shade, and even my son's own coach, Marcus Wright, who gave every kid a water bottle and a mouth guard to keep them safe, all out of his own pocket. At Rec Board, we are still working on a way to reward and thank our volunteers, as without them there would be no program. So thank you to our volunteers very much. We as a Rec Board also look forward to having more people volunteer and bring our programs to life. Thank you to the parents who brought their kids out to practices, sat in the brutal heat at games, and were patient with us as we fixed bumps in the road. Lastly, thank you to council for approving the program as we presented, and Mr. Dillon and Miss Angie for all their help in putting in the order and handling out-of-town payments. Being out at Otter Street Fields is an exciting thing. When you see all these kids with the smiles on their faces, in their jerseys, running in the heat, not even caring, and just working together a team, it's awesome. Seeing so many of these borough kids out there is just an incredible event. These kids are learning the sport and having the time of their lives while they're playing together. This was a great example of the hard work that is being put into our recreation programs for the benefit of our borough and for the betterment of our youth. Thank you for giving me the opportunity and time to speak tonight. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tyree Barnes. I just want to say thank you, first and foremost. The program this year, it leaves me speechless. From the day when we did the combine, just showing up to see how many kids were out there. Didn't go totally how we planned it, but it went how it went, and it was the start of something good. This season trumped last season by miles, and it all started with you guys saying yes to making it official with the officials, saying yes to the budget again for what we needed, and just giving these kids an opportunity to go out there and showcase their skills. Because without a platform like this all summer, the kids could be outside or in the house doing nothing. And you guys made it very, very blunt that we don't want the kids out there not having anything to do all summer. So I just thank you once again. I'm sorry I don't have a more prepared speech, but what I can say is this season went great, and I thank you again.
Thank you.
Can't wait for next year.
Hi, I'm Harold Jackson. I've worked with everyone already know. I work with Tyree, Aaron, and Sandy. Once again, I just want to say thank you for all you've done. And just to say that this program, like, I put all my hard work and time in, but I really appreciate Tyree because he went above and beyond. Every step of the way I was there, he was there, and Sandy as well. Aaron, anytime we needed to call to dial him in, he was there for the logistics as well. And then the liaison between Greg and you as well, Ralph, and Brian and Lee. So I want to thank Anne Lorraine as well. I want to say thank you for your part. Also, just the presentation this year was so much spectacular. And also, I want to bring up a kid and a parent. If everyone could just speak from their point of view. First, I'm going to start with myself. I coached the juniors. I had the littles, so I had the 4, 5, and 6-year-olds. I don't have any, well, my son is here, but he played for 2 different age groups. They learn so much. And just the sport of flag football is growing so much and so fast. It's one of the fastest growing sports. I also coach at the high school. I coach the girls flag at the high school as well. And I just want to be able to push this sport for as far as I possibly can for our town, because I know for years to come, this is going to be the new way, the new sport, and it's going nowhere. Starts with the girls level. I had a bunch of girls that I even got a pleasure of coaching from the Ravens. And I was telling them that I'm excited to see them when they get up into the high school level. And hopefully we can get it at middle school so we can keep on pushing this forward.
I think you should pick her up and let her be seen.
This is little boy. This is
Oh, boy, all right, pick him up. He wants to be seen.
You guys have a chair that can stand up?
It's all right. Halo, say hello and say thank you.
Thank you.
Now, remember what we talked about. What was your favorite part of flag football?
Be in the middle and force him back to my help.
So that's something that he learned, that he was taught. A position that we play is middle linebacker, and being and helping. He was a essential part of my defense. And anytime someone would run, he would go upfield, try to pull their flag, and he would force back to the help. And that's something that he learned through flag football.
Very good.
I would like to call Tyree Barnes Jr. It's something that you learned about flag and what you liked about it.
Learning how to play the position middle. Just learning how to get back and go into my zone. Kind of like because I usually play like center and receiver, so it's nice learning something on our defense this season.
All right.
Thank
that's
you.
something that you learned as well. All right, sit down.
Hey, you can leave that one.
He was a part of our 7 and 9 age group. The Raiders, they won the championship.
Can you bring that mic down a little bit for him? Like push it down, yeah.
So I learned about different drills we didn't even know yet before we played flag football, and I learned about positioning and playing flag football.
There you go.
I really like playing my position, quarterback, because it was really fun, and I appreciated the parents come out and cheered for us.
My favorite part of flag football was being able to learn a different position that I'm used to, and I really enjoyed actually learning to win or lose different games for the future.
My favorite thing about it is being a running back and pushing through the gaps.
That's my son, Mason.
My favorite thing was learning how to rush the passer and get one step quicker to get his flag.
All right. We have Jackson. He was on our Broncos team.
Hi, yes, I do. Good evening. My name is Jackson Jimenez, and I'm going into 4th grade at Snyder Girardi Elementary School. This is my 2nd year I played flag football, and this year I was on the Broncos. I love several things about playing flag football. The first thing is meeting new people. At first, you do not know each other, but as time goes, you get to build a friendship. My second thing is the jersey. Oh, I got it. When I opened the package and saw my new jersey, I thought it was so cool that one side was navy blue and the other was orange. I really wish I still had it so I could keep wearing it. A third thing I liked that I had was that I had a great coach. Thank you and good night.
Would you like to come up and speak? Yeah. Anyone else? Bridget? We have a couple coaches from our program as well.
Good, good.
This is Jeff Moscow. He coached for the Bengals.
How you guys doing? Again, my name's Jeff Moscow. I coach for the Bengals. It's my 2nd year coaching flag football with the Rec. I just want to thank you guys for everything that you have done to be able to provide me the opportunity to do this. I think it's really good for the kids. It's a great program. It brings kids out who are just new to the borough even. Allows them to meet other kids, make friendships, build relationships, you know, going into the school year. Now they have friends. They might not have known nobody, and it gives them familiar faces. I just want to thank you guys all again, and I appreciate everything. Thank you.
It's Coach Bridget. She was for the Ravens.
Bridget.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Bridget Callahan, I was the coach for the Baltimore Ravens. My team was part of the senior division, 10 through 13-year-olds. This is my second year. I've had the pleasure of coaching under the Borough Recreation flag football program. I saw firsthand with my own eyes how this truly is a benefit to our youth. It really takes them outside of the classroom and teaches them valuable lessons that they can utilize in other areas of their life, in the classroom right now, as well as when they become working adults. But just seeing them, teaching them something on the football field and then having it click. You know, a lot of folks will emphasize success based on the number of wins or how many touchdowns are scored or how many interceptions are made. However, my team, and of course we had our hard games this year where it didn't quite end in the results we wanted in wins. However, I truly believe that they've learned something more special, such as teamwork, leadership, and sportsmanship, which is even more important in today's world, I feel. So just seeing them experiencing that, taking me outside of my corporate office, just gives me more valuable lessons, if not, you know, just to them. So, but also my children have played and reaped the benefits of this program. Some of you know me, I played high school tackle football for Bristol High, and having flag football as an alternate, arguably safer alternate to tackle football for girls and boys, this is huge. Honestly, the borough is ahead of the curve when it comes to supporting flag football. We're seeing it in place in high school right now. Coach H here doing a phenomenal job there, and hopefully at some point we'll see it as a PIAA sanctioned sport, and it's in the Olympics. So I think council being on the forefront of this, spearheading this effort with our youth, is a testament to you guys. So thank you so much for valuing our youth and putting the time in supporting them. So thank you.
Bridget. Ellen would be very proud. Your mother would be very proud of you.
Oh, thank you, Lorraine. I hope so.
Your mother was a great woman.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And that was our last speaker.
Hi.
Once again, I just want to say thank you all. One last thing, I couldn't thank the volunteers enough. All the coaches from every team, they made it possible just as much as myself, Tyree, Aaron, and Sandy. The volunteers, they went above and beyond every step of the way, as Sandy laid out, but they are the heart and soul of the program, just like ourselves. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I like to say a couple things, because over 2 years ago when we decided to form this rec program, Tyree, we met, Aaron, Harold, Greg, this committee in the conference room more than once, and we didn't agree on a lot of things. But the best investment you could ever make is investing in the youth of this town. And I told you guys that privately over 2 years ago. I didn't need to say it publicly, but I'm saying it tonight because just listening to the way you're handling this program, we can't fail, because you guys have too much class and dignity to make this a success. And really, I mean, I can't, just listening to what you had to say tonight and how you presented yourself and everything, this borough is very fortunate, when I say fortunate, to have you guys and this rec board representing Bristol Borough. So I want to thank you. I think we talked about moving into another phase. We're trying to get more involved in seniors and different things in town, which we're working on, and I think we all bought into the program. And I think, Bridget, you said the right thing. Flag football is a thing of the future, and we're ahead of the curve. And you could see the amount of kids that came out for this football program versus a different program. And they never had that many kids come out. So I think we're on the right track, and I think we even talked about moving this later into August, maybe into September, even though soccer's running, we could run a couple sports, it's a little more cooler maybe. We're doing a fall league. But whatever you guys want to do, you know that this council and mayor is behind you 150%. And we're going to keep building on this program. So again, thank you.
Thank you all.
Why don't you guys come up for a picture and then the kids don't have to stay, because we're going to be here for a while and it's going to be boring.
I don't know if you guys know this or not, but flag football is recognized by PIAA. It's in 250 high schools in Pennsylvania. It's going to start being, they're going to start getting, what do you call it? It's not a kid.
Come up here, take a picture. Turn around, we got somebody taking pictures. What's up, buddy? I heard.
Want me close enough for you?
Bill, come on, you
Come on,
coach.
good. Squeeze in, everybody. Let's really get comfortable. Good.
My mother just asked that I announce that my dad was the oldest coach.
Isn't that nice of her?
With the nicest haircut, too.
Can you see us all?
Thank you. Thank you, Aaron.
Good job, man. Great job.
Thank you, Sandy. I'm sorry. I was going to say
Right?
You can be Brian tonight. So yeah. All right, see you guys. Thank you.
Okay. That's what it's all about, council. Okay. Amanda, do you want to discuss this Green Lane flood? And I think Greg and Lorraine want to.
Yeah, just before Amanda gives her presentation on the Green Lane flood, Lorraine and I just wanted to first of all thank Gilmore for their thorough study. But just so you guys know, we as East Ward representatives, the mayor and the rest of the council have been, the mayor's also an East Ward resident. So we've been very locked in on Green Lane as well. I know a lot of people go down there and don't like the look of it, which we agree, as well as the realities of the flooding that occurs there, which we also agree. And Amanda's going to give a very thorough report, I think, on what we're trying to do to fix the issues down there. But all we would like to say is we're on it. We've been on it for years. And the biggest challenge that we as a council have, and Lorraine and I have, is that it is a state road. And, you know, that is technically out of our jurisdiction as to how far we can push, and we're hoping to be able to push the state a little further. I think Amanda's going to highlight that for us.
Yeah, thank you for that explanation. Just set this back up. I won't go through all of the details of the study that we conducted, but just to give everybody kind of a refresher, some background information on the study that we did. Obviously, it's a known issue that there's flooding at the underpass at Green Lane. We reached out to PennDOT initially and to State Senator and State Rep Tina Davis and asked for some assistance. We were directed to PEMA and applied for some funding to do a study as to what the source of the flooding is down under that underpass, and to be able to do some research as to the history of how this occurred. We were successful in being awarded a grant through PEMA for, again, simply a study. There's no construction funding associated with that grant funding, but did complete our study over the last few weeks and issued a report. So we had a televising company come out to camera the storm lines. If you've driven under the underpass, you see there's 2 trench drains on either side of you as you're traveling under the bridge from the Amtrak bridge. And we cameraed, or attempted to camera, that entire line from the underpass out to the Delaware River, which in fact we did confirm it does go to the Delaware River. We were unsuccessful at cameraing most of that line. It severely deteriorated, and there were some areas we couldn't access at all. The areas we could see, at points the bottom of the pipe was completely missing. There's tree roots, there's debris, there's rocks at times within the pipe. So it's clearly not functioning the way it was intended. Again, just some background as to how this pipe was constructed. In 1930, there were plans put together by PennDOT that for the construction of that pipe under the road, again, extending from the underpass out to the river. It appears from our research that that was done because it was originally an at-grade crossing for that railroad, and there was a desire to then have that Green Lane go under the rail lines there. So henceforth, the storm pipe was constructed in order to allow for drainage under the underpass. Clearly, that's not functioning as intended at this point. So based on our review and analysis, we would recommend a full replacement of that entire storm pipe run at this point. So again, that's extending from the underpass all the way out to an outfall at the Delaware River, which I've seen personally, even at low tide, where the water level is a foot or 2 below that pipe. You can actually see the pipe. There's still water coming out of that pipe hours after the tide goes down, which leads us to believe that there's a lot of infiltration coming into that storm pipe and that it's severely affected by the tide. So putting, a new pipe in with a check valve on the end of the river outfall, I think will obviously improve the situation. The inherent issue here is that the construction cost is likely between $3 and $3.5 million to replace that pipe. I know we've spoken at length as to whose responsibility it is to maintain and replace that pipe. We've not found anything to date that indicates that it would necessarily be on the borough. I know PennDOT has certainly taken a position otherwise. So next steps would be to, I think, reach back out to State Senator and State Rep, and probably the PUC as well, to get them back involved in the process.
So, Amanda, can the pipe be lined? Or it's too far gone?
Yeah, it is too far deteriorated at this point. Lining really only works if the structure itself is still in place. And I mean, again, I said, the bottom was completely deteriorated in some points. Tree roots are coming. You can see in the pictures. What's that? Yeah, right. Yeah. So those tree roots even will, effectively not allow it to be lined too. You won't get that smooth surface if we lined it. So that's honestly not an option for this this segment of pipe. So really, replacement is the best answer here.
So I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No,
So
you're
Mr. Dillon, you and I spoke that the PUC, right, that we're intending on at least challenging PennDOT on whose responsibility it is?
Going back and asking the state representatives, Tina Davis and the senator, to call for another meeting with the PUC and PennDOT and have further discussion. I think it's absurd that PennDOT can take the position that the borough should be responsible for $3.5 million worth of pipe that was put in currently back in 1930 when that railroad crossing wasn't graded, and so
Put in by PennDOT, right?
we suspect it was put in by PennDOT or the railroad. Who knows?
Yeah, it's difficult
So,
to find
Mandy,
anything from
Is there
1930
any way to take it to Route 13 instead of the river?
because of the grade. It really does. The
Or
right
it's like
places
we're
to.
in the bottom of the fishbowl.
Right, exactly. And you know the grade kind of going back up the hill back to the Amish Mart. It is, that'd be a really challenging thing. Again, we kind of tossed around any other possible solution. We could try to implement some sort of pump system
That's all I was just gonna say.
at the underpass. That's costly to maintain as well. Again, if there was a new pipe replaced, at least it would last for 50, 75 years, who knows. But yeah, pump failure is certainly an issue in a storm, like we had for a few days, like last week. So there's pros and cons to each, but I do.
Gravity fed's the best way.
What's
You
that?
can do it by gravity.
Right, exactly.
The elevation at the bottom of the Green Lane, higher than the river.
Not by much, but
Not by much.
a little bit, yeah. So
If we did that, that pipe should be much bigger than.
we'd certainly size it appropriately and likely add in additional structures, inlets, or something along Green Lane that aren't there today. There are not many inlets along Green Lane. But because of that elevation difference, once you get up to the hill back at like the intersection of Wilson Avenue, that pipe currently is 18 to 20 feet deep into the ground because of, again, the elevation changes. So it is a challenging project for sure.
So I just have a question. We're obviously not going to solve this problem immediately, and I think it's great that we're moving forward with the steps to see how we can resolve it. But until we resolve it, I think it's imperative that we take additional action in terms of stopping the traffic. And I think, our police force and our fire police and everyone else does a great job whenever they get called out there, but it takes manpower. So I'm thinking, something we should consider is some manual arms that are stored on the side of, each side of Green Lane on both sides of the rail pass that we can quickly close with flashers and reflective. One, we wouldn't have to have manpower out there to tell people not to move forward, and police vehicles or rescue vehicles. I mean, we just had a rescue there last Tuesday where we had to rescue a husband and wife that I'm going to mention later, but I think we should consider getting pricing to be able to shut that underpass down much faster, chain it, it's shut down, and we can alleviate maybe some of the issues we're having there when these storms rush in the way they do. Because, I live on the street that's adjacent to the underpass, Greg backs up to it, it floods like that. In a matter of minutes, that underpass, as everyone's aware, floods immediately. So I think we should look into some, intermediate solutions just from a traffic standpoint and a safety standpoint, because we don't want to be rescuing people under there, God forbid, next time there's a heavy rainfall.
So you're saying as soon as we get two arms that come out,
Yeah, like we would
blinking lights, and they would go down Wilson Avenue, or
Yep.
and
Just
then
the
up on
river.
the other side, they would go around where the Amish.
Yeah. Yep.
Good idea.
And certainly not an ultimate long-term solution, still requires, manual manpower for somebody to know it's about to flood, run down there, close the gate.
I mean, the good thing is,
but
like with the emergency management coordinator, the chief, and, our fire departments that are involved, we can quickly get there to shut this roadway down, so we're not dealing with this.
Yeah, with the responsiveness in the borough in general, it's still a doable.
And the other thing is, not to interrupt you, but we have so many people coming in town for events and to visit our restaurants and everything else that they are not aware of this. So, we're aware of it and we're kind of cognizant that it's happening, but we need to make sure we look out for the other people that are coming in town as well, who don't understand how quickly that underpass floods.
Yeah, we can certainly talk to PennDOT too about the steps that they would require for us to install something like that.
The other thing is the Edgeley Bridge is out. Hopefully it'll be back, when we start doing this project.
Yeah, I think that is a longer term project potentially.
Is
but
Making progress.
Okay.
making progress.
Slow progress.
Amtrak
is challenging.
So,
I
man,
think we've
I
all
like
heard-
the idea of shutting it down with flashers. I think makes everybody's life easier than a guy standing out there with a,
Yeah.
How do we go about getting a price on it?
Yeah, we can certainly get pricing on it.
Something simple, the gates, you just pull them closed.
Yeah,
Maybe
absolutely.
They lock and they got the yellow flashers, road closed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they even have solar powered signage, I think, now that we could probably use for the flashers. But yeah, we can get pricing on that.
Joe, when it floods, how long before you reopen it? That's what I'm saying, so it doesn't have to be something that's gotta last for days.
Right.
The flashers last a few hours and the storm's over and.
We just get the squirrel gates that run across, latch them in, they'll have a sign where the officers can run up there. We'll know when the flooding's going to come. Merle's pretty on top of it. We can be prepared and we can watch it when it goes down, and just bring it back up.
I mean, is that
Very lucky that
Yeah.
we have this.
Is that something maybe FEMA would have funding for? I mean, it's proactive, it's
Right.
not an emergency, but it's preventing an emergency.
We can talk to them. I will say their grant processes are normally slower. I think we applied for this flood study grant in January of 2022. So it certainly is a slower process if we're looking to do something, short term.
The
Might
director
not
of
be the best.
FEMA lives in Bristol Borough, so maybe we can
Interesting.
speak with him.
Okay.
All right.
We can look into funding though, yes.
All right,
Um,
you wanna go over the
we can.
grant project?
Yes, yeah, there are a few other engineering projects that are also grant funding to stay on the kind of flood mitigation and stormwater efforts. We have a stream bank stabilization project along Adams Hollow Creek. So I presented on this, I think, towards the beginning of the year, but just as a refresher, this is a continuation of the stream bank stabilization project that was done by NRCS 2 years ago at this point near North Cedar Street. And so they had done, structural stability wall along the stream bank for a portion of Adams Hollow Creek on one side of the bank. That was to support one dwelling structurally. So that was the reason that they had done the project, but in doing so, we identified the fact that really many other areas along that stretch of the creek have erosion issues, flooding issues. So we applied for numerous grant funds and were awarded $460,000 to continue that stream bank stabilization. Over the past few months, we did a study with a geotechnical engineer from our geotechnical department to identify the priority areas along, again, this stretch of Adams Hollow Creek. So we identified immediately across from the project that was done 2 years ago and immediately downstream of that same area. So we'd be looking to continue essentially along the same side of the bank that they had done and then flip across to the other side of the stream bank. We surveyed the area already and are in design now, so we hope to have that out to bid for construction, weather dependent, early next year. Next project that we have, again, grant funding and stormwater related, is the Howe Street Vegetated Swale Project. It's between Howe Street and Green Street. I've spoken about this a few times because this is the project that would satisfy the borough's MS4 sediment reduction requirements. The interesting or unique point to this project is that it's in the same area that PICO has been doing ongoing remediation efforts. Over the last decade or so, I guess more at this point, PICO has remediated areas of Swain Street, Linden, Howe Street, and the surrounding area due to the former manufactured gas plant that was located over there. So we would be looking to partner with PICO in their next phase of remediation, because their next phase would involve excavation of the exact same swale we are planning to work in. We have had numerous phone calls, meetings with PICO and their engineering team, as well as with multiple arms of DEP through the remediation program, their MS4 program, and their general NPDES permitting program. So we've, I think at this point, coordinated most efforts, and we have a draft agreement in place that we are hoping PICO is actively reviewing, and hopefully we will secure that agreement in partnership with them over the next few weeks. If so, that will be before you at your next council meeting, and we will continue with our design efforts to dovetail our project into PICO's remediation plan. Their plan at the moment for construction, I think, is starting construction in the late 2024, continuing with restoration into 2025, which is likely when our portion of the project would occur. So ours is largely kind of making it a vegetated swale after their efforts are completed. So this will likely be a spring 2025 project for the borough. All right, last but not least, off the stormwater topic, we have a trail and parking area along Maple Beach Road. Again, this was grant funded with a $250,000 grant from DCD, and this would be to add 10 additional parking spaces along Maple Beach Road to facilitate users of various trails that actually connect right here in Bristol Borough. It's the East Coast Greenway, the D&L Canal Trail, and the internal borough trails of the spur line and the waterfront area. We are largely complete with the design of the physical trail and parking area, and we are finalizing our stormwater design and plan to have that out to bid in the next few months here, with a hopefully construction beginning this year, finalized in the spring as well. So this will also have a sidewalk path that connects fully to the recently completed Maple Beach Bridge, just past the Public Works Building, that will wrap all the way around to the canal marker at Canals End Road. So if there's any questions about any
Questions
of those.
for Amanda on any of these projects?
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
The next thing on the works, I have on there discussion selling borough property. I didn't want to, what I wanted you to know is that we own in your packets 123 parcels. That includes ball fields. That's how much ground that we have to maintain in this town between grass cutting, snow removal, sidewalk repairs, cutting trees. So it's starting to get to a point where it's getting expensive. So I want to form a committee eventually to look at all these properties. Some of them we know we're never going to, including the Borough Hall. But I'm saying we need to figure something out because we're losing revenue tax-wise. The school district's losing tax revenue. And we can turn some some of these properties have been nice homes. I mean, Habitat has approached us for a couple of homes. They're doing some nice projects in town. I think it's something we really need to look at down the road. So tonight, I will start posting. I want to start building more homes, but I'm not interested. So I think we'll figure something out and we'll discuss this hopefully over the next couple months. We'll start looking at this sheet. I had Jim put everything on there, but 123 properties to go maintain is a lot. All right, Mayor, what do you have?
I have quite a few things. So the first thing I want to talk about in continuing with our traffic discussion is a few weeks ago, Chief Moores, Mr. Dillon, met with the owner of Utopia, which is the old, I think, Capitol Lighting, is that what that was? Coming in off of Beaver Street and Route 13. We've been having a ton of tractor trailer issues. So we've been having tractor trailer issues on Mansion Street, on Prospect Street. Curbs are being taken out, people's cars are being hit. And after meeting with the gentleman over there, we decided as a borough that we were going to create more difficult turning lanes. And you see the delineators that are put in on the corner of Beaver and Mansion and Beaver and Prospect, which makes it impossible for these trucks to now turn down these streets. And Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, but to date, we haven't had any issues since those tighter turning lanes have been put in, correct?
You're correct. Yeah.
So it's effective and it's been working, but in addition to that, the business, as you're coming down Beaver Street there, have been proactive as well. They put in larger lighting, they trimmed their shrubs, they put in some landscaping to try and show these trucks where they need to turn. So we understand that there's a tractor trailer issue in town. It's technically a GPS issue. I literally witnessed one come down Pond Street the other day towards Mill Run and make a right on Wilson Avenue. That truck had no business turning on Wilson Avenue, but it probably had no idea where it was going. So we're going to continue to stay on top of this. We're going to continue to work towards a more formidable solution. But I'm thankful that and I want to say at the efforts of this borough, Mr. Dillon and the chief and myself, that so far so good, we've alleviated the problem over there on Mansion and Prospect Street. So if anyone else is having issues, I want to publicly say you need to let us know. We don't know about everything, but if you're having issues with tractor trailers or trucks that shouldn't be coming down your street, let us know so we can look into it. A couple other things I have is going back to the rescue on Green Lane that happened on Tuesday, August 6th. We had 3 firefighters who were trained in water rescue a husband and wife from that Green Lane underpass. These firefighters were Tony Bucci, Frank Ignetti, and AJ Pagliacca. They literally are trained in water rescue. This was a joint effort from American No. 2 and Consolidated Firehouses, and they were able to pull them out. The other thing I want to mention is that they used equipment that this borough was able to secure from the redevelopment grant through the casino money. So when people see, the borough or, our emergency services purchasing equipment, it gets put to use. And thankfully it was put to use in a way to save a husband and wife last Tuesday on Green Lane. Also last Monday, August 5th, Sergeant Ellis and Officer Lepore were dispatched to the Bristol Wharf where they assisted in saving a 17-year-old male who was an attempted suicide by jumping in the water. So our 2 police officers, along with a timely boater that was out there who quickly thought to come over, helped assist our police officers who saved the gentleman's life at the Bristol Wharf on August 5th. So, I think these firefighters and these police officers deserve to be commended for what they did in helping technically 3 people get saved last week in Bristol Borough. I also want to mention that this Thursday, starting at 5:30 to 8 p.m. at Snyder Girardi, we have our National Night Out with our police force and our emergency management team. So it was canceled last week due to weather, but this Thursday, August 15th, starting at 5:30 to 8, we have our National Night Out at Snyder Girardi Elementary School. This past week, we had the St. Anne's Carnival and Italian Festival, which was a huge success, one of the greatest borough events for over the last 30 years. I want to thank our Chief Moores and the rest of the Bristol Borough Police Department. Also, the generosity of the DeCaro family, who that because of this concerted effort, we were able to have over 400 borough kids attend that event where they rode the rides all night for free and they even were able to eat dinner at no cost. Thanks to our department and the DeCaro family, over 400 borough kids were able to attend the carnival last week and have a great time. Last Saturday, attended Unity Day down at the wharf. That was another great event. I want to thank Carla Reynolds and Kelly Montazami for coordinating that. That was a great event where they recognized some people in our community for their commitment to Bristol Borough. Your Borough Council President was one of those members that was honored at the event. Father Mooney, Tim Witherspoon Jr., who owns the boxing over there on Jefferson Avenue, and Angelo Grisolia, just a couple people from town who were honored for their commitment to this town and all they do for the people of Bristol Borough. Also at Unity Day, we were able to establish a table where we had Officer Brady there to do coloring with a cop. So we had a police presence there, a little community involvement with the children of town where they were able to sit there and color with one of our police officers. I want to mention that in terms of events, we have a huge event coming up September 29th in town. It's going to be the 200th anniversary of Lafayette's farewell tour in Bristol Borough. There will be a procession that's going to start from the Adams Hollow Creek. Someone will be on horse and carriage, imitating General Lafayette. We're going to stop at the intersection of Radcliffe and Lafayette for an unveiling of a commemorative street sign. We have the Pennsbury Marching Band. We have the Brackens that are going to be all the way down at the intersection of Mill and Radcliffe. This is going to be a huge celebratory fun event for our town. And that first block of Mill Street will be closed down so that the restaurants and the people can stand outside, celebrate. There'll be presentations. We're going to do an official unveiling of the mural. So if you need any more information on this celebratory event, please check the Borough website or our Facebook page where you can find additional information on that.
What was the date of that again?
September 29th. It's a Sunday.
Thank you.
And it's going to start at 2 p.m. I also want to mention that there's a home repair workshop being held in Bristol Township through Habitat for Humanity and the Bucks County Repair Program. This is a county program. So the home repair workshop is August 28th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. If you are in need of some home repairs and you can't afford it at this time, you have some issues with your roof, your HVAC, your plumbing, you can go to this seminar and apply to get some assistance for home repairs. So it's a great program that's being offered by the county. I think that's it. The only other thing I want to quickly mention is this is our last meeting before school starts. So by the time we meet again, school will be in session. So please be aware of your traffic signals, your flashers, the school zones will be active again, your crosswalks. Let's be more alert for the children and the pedestrians in town when school starts in early September. And that's all I've got.
Thank you. Blake, you have anything?
Yes, sir, I do. Thank you. So, since joining the council, there's been some things that, selfishly, I've been kind of, really focused on this year. Number one, that comes from a place of pride. I love where I live. I love the town. I love the people in the town. And I really love when I hear outside of town what this town has to offer. Having said that, going back to a sense of pride, I saw maybe about a month or so back, I'm driving through town and just what I normally do anyway, and the storm just came through. And I saw on Market Street, I saw a woman and her children cleaning up the trash on Market, just cleaning it up. And I pulled over and asked if they needed any help, and she said, no, we love this town. So that's number one, to see the sense of pride that people have living here. That's number one. Number two, the recreation that's going on in the town. A lot of involvement with, you know, the kids and coaches, volunteers. It's so uplifting to see that and be a part of it. My son's included, Greg, you know, part of Red Board Ring, Brian. So I'm just happy that we have a sense of pride in this town where people are really taking pride in it, but also we have things that we can offer to our residents, especially the children. Here's where I have a problem. So I woke up on Sunday, and I'm a storyteller. You guys know this, I tell stories, but it's true though. True story, true story. But I wake up, it's a Saturday morning, and I go outside and just kind of, what we normally do. And Otter Street, which I don't know if anybody's familiar, I live across the street from the fields. I live on Maple, right there across from Otter Street. So I take great pride in that area. And the residents do too as well. So I go outside and I notice graffiti all over the playground. And I'm gonna keep it that light because what I saw, I don't want to repeat here. But it was disgraceful. It was. And I immediately reached out. I talked to a few members of council about this situation, and I was directed toward Mr. Dillon. And when I tell you Mr. Dillon got on it, I want to thank you. I really do. Tag was out there first thing to get that graffiti off. They were. And here's the thing. When I left my house this morning, coming to this meeting, this afternoon, this evening, rather, coming to this meeting, practice was going on for soccer. Can you imagine if those kids saw that graffiti on that playground that somebody did and have all those kids see that after you're hearing about the flag football program, you're hearing about all the great things that's happening in this town, and have kids come there and see that, that's not gonna happen. It's gonna get removed immediately, and I'm gonna ask the public, if you see anybody doing anything like that that's defacing this town, you need to report it. We don't stand for that. We have a different standard here in Bristol Borough. We really do. And we don't have time for that. There's too many great things going on in this town to have people come in who I don't know who it was, who did it. But if you think you're gonna get away with that here, you're sorely mistaken. So if you're a resident and you see anything like that happening in town, please report it, because we don't stand for that. I talked to Chief Moores. We're not standing for that. We're doing too many great things in this town to have that happen. There's great residents in this town. Matter of fact, a neighbor of mine, Mr. Brophy, he mentioned that there's two Bristol Borough people that served in the armed forces that were honored in DC. There's many great people here, and we don't deserve that. Have some sense of pride. And you saw the flag football program. There's many other recreation programs going on. Just have a sense of pride in where you live. And if you see anything like that goes on, it's not going to be tolerated, but you need to report it. And if you see it, say something to the person. Say something to people. So I think, so I'm sorry.
Good job, buddy.
It's true.
You spoke from your heart. Well, if anybody sees anything, they can remain anonymous. If you're worrying about turning somebody in because you're going for retaliation, don't we still have that number, Joe? You can still call anonymous number. What is that?
I'd have to look it up, Ralph.
But we do have an anonymous hotline that you can call, so. Matt, maybe you could put it on the screen for anybody to know.
They could send an anonymous email through Crime Watch too, Bristol Borough.
Okay. Louis?
Yes, I missed last month's meeting and have been there. I wanted to thank Chief Moores because we've had some issues on Ratcliffe Street with people who, I don't know the proper, pardon? Trespassers, yes. early in the morning, coming up from the river behind the library. Talked to the chief about it. He was right on it and had the patrol there at night behind the Grundy Library and their property. And it kind of solved our problem. But I know this is a problem in many small towns now. It's wherever they can get off a train or get off a bus, and the chief and his crew have really been on top of it. So if you find that there's people, you know, that just don't look like they belong here or look like they could potentially be a problem, just call the non-emergency number and leave a message. And I know it's been very helpful. And you know, these people need help, but they're not from Bristol, so we can't really, we don't have the support for them. So in the meantime, I think they just have to find another place to live. So again, thank you, Chief, and thank you, men, for all you've done. I know the Grundy Foundation was very thankful for the quick response that you've had and continue to have for them. So thanks again.
Thank you. All right, what do you want to just wave or you want to talk?
No, I'm going to talk. I just want to say thank you to everyone for all your prayers and well wishes. It's been very challenging and awfully painful experience, but I am recovering. My recovery period is going to be some time, but I just wanted to really thank everyone for the prayers and well wishes, because it's those prayers and well wishes is what was helping me to move forward. So thank you.
And we missed you. Thank you. I can tell you that. Greg?
I don't have anything. I spoke about everything I wanted to in the
Rain?
I just want to, I've had a lot of inquiries about the Mill Run, Wilson Avenue, Pond Street property. People have approached me, people have called me, sent me texts, everything. They want to know when it's going to open. And I just wanted to ask Mr. Dillon if you've heard anything. And also we had requested an email address from them, and I don't think we got it yet, did we?
Nothing, crickets, nothing.
So there's nothing. So just so everyone knows, you know, as soon as we know something, you're going to know something. Also, I think that if somebody has a problem, and you can call me anytime, that's not a problem, but if there's a police problem and it's a non-emergency police problem, please call 215-788-7811. Don't be afraid to call, please, because by the time you call me and then I get a hold of somebody, it's just, we should skip a step in between. You can call me for other things, you know, I'm more than happy to help you. And that's it.
Couple things I have. One, the playgrounds throughout the borough, just so you know, they're not forgotten. We're working with a couple companies to try to get these drawings done and to present something to council. Hopefully for the spring, we have all new playgrounds in town. That's what our goal is right now, to get that done. The other thing is our ball fields. We stopped working on them. The heat was just too intense this year to continue and dealing with the roofs and things like that, but we're going to definitely finish all the baseball fields. You know, it's going to get done and everything will be looking good down there. I don't have too much more. Jim, what do you have?
That's it. That's good. The mayor wants that one special banner
Mayor, you want to talk anymore, remember?
So we have a gentleman in town, Mr. Joe DiMidio, who's going to be 100 years old on September 28th of this year. He's a World War II veteran, Battle of the Bulge in Normandy. He founded the 3rd District Fire Company in Bristol Township. He is being honored. His family purchased a banner that's going to be on Mill Street today of his birthday because they wanted to do a drive-by for him. So when you see that banner go up, it's purchased by the family. And if you see Joe or his family members in town, congratulate him, for 100 years being on this earth and wish him a happy birthday. Since I am talking, I do have one more thing because I was looking at my calendar. And before our next meeting, we also have Fishing with a Cop that's happening Saturday, September 7th. So the Saturday after Labor Day weekend, we have Fish with a Cop, and I want to thank Officer Palmer and the rest of the members of the police department who help him, and the members of our community who give donations. There will be Fishing with a Cop Saturday morning, September 7th at the Borough Canal. Now I'm officially done.
Pass. Before we go into our meeting, I just want to thank everybody from town and out of town that attended the St. Anne, St. Mark Carnival this year. I want to thank the council members that worked there in the heat and the rain and trying to get it done. But more importantly, I said at the carnival, I'd like to thank Father Mooney, who brought 2 parishes together as one. And I think that speaks volume right there about how these 2 parishes came together and how we're so successful and moving forward. It's like amazing what we have accomplished, but it's a lot of work. It's a great fundraiser for the church and the kids in school, and what it's all about. The kids benefit through that fundraiser, and they raise a lot of money every year to keep things going. So I want to thank everybody for being there.
I'd like to say something. Ralph and his family spend 2 weeks at least there working, and not luckily, but they have so many friends, good friends, that help them out, and if it wasn't for that, that wouldn't happen. And I really think that Ralph and his family need to be thanked by the church for everything you do. It's an amazing time for the kids and even the parents. I see people come every year, the same people. You get to see them again, and they love it. Someone I know had an emergency and couldn't come and said, I was dying for a pizza free. And I said, you should have called me, I would have brought you one. But it's a wonderful event, and I'm sorry to, I want everybody to know how hard it is to do this job. And there's many people in this town that help out, friends of your family that help out. Thank you.
What's taken back by a lot of people, they don't know what position I hold, and they'll come up to me, I see you here every year, you do a lot, I see your work and this and that. Well, you people are so lucky to live in this town. You got a great town, and it's, we're down the waterfront. We, visit the town, the restaurants, and you're very fortunate to live in this town. I say, yeah, thank you, but it's a great compliment. We have a great town.
Yes.
And we have a lot of great people in this town.
You do. Mm-hmm. And you have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
You do.
Okay. We're going to go, no public participation. We're going to go into our regular agenda.
Okay.
So number 2 on the agenda.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to accept the council meeting minutes for July 8th of 2024, accept the treasurer's report for June of 2024, accept the police reports for July 2024, accept the fire reports for July 2024, accept the inspection reports for July 2024, accept public works reports for July of 2024, and accept the harbor reports for July of 2024.
Do I have a second? Second by Mrs. Cullen. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 3.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry. Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion for approval A resolution for the borough to seek a boating infrastructure grant from the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission and the U.S. Department of the Interior Fish and Wildlife Service in the amount of $1,500,000 to expand the boat docks.
I have a second by Mr. Catroci. Questions or comments? The only comment I would like to make is, I talked to the manager and some politicians regarding this funding. We already have the dock in, and we already have, if you're looking at it, the right side, the piers in, we have 2 docks to the right. To put the docks to the left right now, with the amount of traffic that we have, then it would be outstanding. So we're trying to improve that waterfront with more docks. So hopefully we're fortunate enough to get this 1.5 million. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Can I get a motion to adjourn?